This is Tim for 91.5 WBIM on Severe Auditory Trauma. I've got Corey from Trivium here. How's it going?
Going good.
Cool. Let's start off with, how about the new album? How do you feel like that came out and everything?
We're super excited about it. We feel like this is the first record, probably since Ascendancy, that everything that we set out to do and everything we wanted to do with this record is exactly how we wanted it. We were able to achieve it, from the artwork to the videos, to the music, to everything, the way it sounds, the songs. It's like we had a lot of time to just, we were really focused in on what exactly we needed to do for this record and how we wanted it to be. And we took as long as time as possible to make sure that it happened and everything was exactly the way we wanted it. So we're super excited about this record, more confident about presenting it to everybody and like getting it out there than the last two records, because the last couple records have always been kind of rushed, limited time to do things, and you always come down to the deadline where there's like shit's just scrambling around, and then there's always something that makes it on the record. You're like, it wasn't supposed to be like that or this or that, but we really kind of took control of it ourselves and just was like, we just made it, hired our own people, found the right people, created everything, and then we handed it to the record label like, this is what we want to do, and kind of just did everything ourselves. So this record is like, by far, everyone's favorite album in the band, and just really, feel like we accomplished something that we've been setting out to do for a while.
Sweet. That's awesome. If you could group the new album with two other Trivium records, which ones would you choose?
It's kind of hard. Every record's always been different from each other, kind of significantly, because I think those make each record something, stand out from each other's. Right. Not every record sounds the same, but probably the most, just from the way it's like the kind of like the intensity level and just the recording quality and just the way the songs are, because it's just got this unrelenting like energy to it that the closest thing I can think of, at least for comparing it to another record, it has to be Ascendancy, and then there's moments where it might flash like a smidge of like Shogun-y, and then maybe a little Crusade, a little Ember, but it's mostly like, I think, with just the vibe and the kind of the feeling you get from the songs, it's more like Ascendancy in that regard, but the songs aren't necessarily like, oh, this sounds like it's an Ascendancy song, but I think it's more of just like the vibe you get from hearing it. It's more like that, and then just maybe a combination of a little bit of everything else that kind of trickles in and out.
Yeah. Would you say In Waves it's more maybe mature at all than Ascendancy, or is it around?
This record definitely, when you listen to it, a lot of the people that have heard the record, like overseas press and stuff like that, it's just they always said it sounded mature, because there's something about it that's just very serious and very dark, and you can just, it's like no fucking around. It's just very, very driving. Even like the melodic stuff that's got a lot of singing is still very pummeling, and then the heavy stuff's more intense than anything we've put out. So it's just got a lot of emotion to it, and it's a lot of power, and it's just like everything around it just has this kind of like, the band's like, it's kind of like Take No Prisoners, we're not fucking around kind of vibe to it. And I think that's the vibe, is when we're writing it, that's the vibe that we kind of felt going into making the record, translated into being recorded onto the record. So when you hear it, even when I hear it, there's like some unexplained extra thing that the last records didn't have, like this, like the power in Matt's voice just seems like he's fucking screaming at you, and it's got a lot more power to it, and then just all the instruments, the drumming, it's just, everything's just kind of like, just seems like everyone's just like fucking, like just pissed off and like just beating the shit out of everything. So it's really cool that we were able to capture that, because I think some of the other records sonically, like, they sounded good and everything was really clear, you could hear everything, but there was just kind of like lacking this kind of like this just vibe that just sounded like the band was just really on fire and just really like intense, which I think this record, we definitely got that. And I think Ascendancy had that in a different form, because we were a lot younger and it was kind of like a different vibe, but this is a more serious, like, mature kind of, just really pissed off kind of, we gotta show people what's up.
Right. It's awesome. Yeah.